Set in the 1950s when there was still segregation and Jim Crow was still a thing. We finally get to the episode where Miss Ruby been yapping about her Marshall Fields job. Marshall Fields is a high-end department store that caters to high-end, mostly white customers. Ruby walks into the store with her resume on hand. She sees one black woman working at the store who goes to her immediately to see if she needs help. Ruby knows that the store tries to be inclusive by having a black woman work at the store, but she knows that the store wouldn't hire another black woman. Ruby sparks a conversation with Tamara and asks about her job. Miss Ruby over here jealous AF Tamara got the job and not her. During a gig at the bar, Ruby gives it her all on stage, but when the audience offers only a weak round of applause, she's not having it. She curses them out, clearly unimpressed by their lackluster response. To be fair, she was mid. After the set, she heads to the bar, where the bartender pours her a drink and mentions that her tab is covered for the night by some white boy with blue eyes. "Girl, you better go grab your mans." Ruby turns to see William finishing his drink and making his way over to her. He casually offers to join her, but Ruby isn't easily impressed. She scoffs at his gesture, telling him he'll need to do more than just pay for her drinks if he wants to win her over. "Miss Ma'am, if you don't do it, I will." William, unfazed, leans in and tells her that he can change her life forever, leaving Ruby momentarily speechless and a bit uneasy, wondering what he really means. Ruby tells William that she hates how it's always a rat race between black women to get to the top. She hates that Tamara got the job before she did, and she blames it all on her sister Letty. She admits that it would be easier if she was white. Eventually, the two get heated and go to William's house so he can fill Ruby's donut. William looks at her skin in a very peculiar way as they get intimate with each other. "Oh, white boy loves some dark chocolate. I don't blame him. Ruby is beautiful." The next day, Ruby wakes up as a white woman. Homegirl really pulled off a Michael Jackson transformation. By the way, remember Dell from the first part? It's the same actress. She stumbles on her feet while rushing to the mirror to confirm. She then faces the mirror and slaps herself to see if she's dreaming. Let's do a test to see if she's really black. Oh, never mind. Ruby goes to town and is in disbelief at her new appearance, but she looks like a crazy white woman. She accidentally bumps into a young black boy, and suddenly 2 police show up to apprehend the boy, thinking he may have hurt the white woman. Luckily, Ruby intervenes and tells them that the boy was only trying to help her. Why all these policemen look like they done fucked all 10 of their cousins. The officers take Ruby with them to bring her back to William, who they believe is her husband, and they think Ruby has some sort of mental illness. Ruby wants to get out of the car, but all of a sudden she feels her body transforming back. Her blue eyes turn back to brown. William carries her back into the house while her body is painfully transforming back into its original form. Ruby is on a plastic tarp while she painfully crawls. Her bones crack and her body undergoes a painful transformation. She says she doesn't want to die. "Don't worry, girl. Keep all 3 of your chins up." Then William cuts her open with a kitchen knife to free Ruby from her skin. Moments pass and William enters the room all caked up. Ruby is now back to being a black woman. William mentions the life cycle of a butterfly. A caterpillar emerges from the same cells, but it's different than its final form. He wanted to apply this same process to humans. William says his research was laughed at by the academic community. He eventually went to Hiram Epstein and found magic. William says the potion he gave Ruby mimics metamorphosis, but the effects wear off after some time. Ruby at first is shocked to find out magic exists, and she tells William how it was like being a white woman. She felt respect for the first time and was treated like a normal human being for once. However, she thought the pain was unbearable. William assures her that eventually the pain gets easier after the first time. William has to leave, but he leaves Ruby a vial of the metamorphosis potion and some money. "Girl, you better grab that bag. Yo ass need that money for sure." Ruby takes the potion and takes a stroll outside as a white woman. She reaps all the benefits of being a white woman and even gets free ice cream out of it. Later on, William comes home while Ruby is singing in the tub. Ruby is skeptical about William and asks why was she the one chosen and not other black women in the South Side. William scrubs her back and says he'll need a favor in return eventually, but until then, Ruby can come and go as she pleases. William then asks why Ruby didn't spend the money he had left her. Ruby responds that she has the only currency she's ever needed, being white. "I would have taken that cash, girl." Ruby explains that being black is difficult, but being a woman is difficult as well. She says on most days she's happy being both, but she's tired of the world constantly interrupting her and reminding her of her social standing. Ruby decides to drink another potion and apply for a job at Marshall Fields. Her new name is Hillary Davenport, and the manager is impressed with Ruby's resume and jokes about her taking his job. Ruby talks about her family and where she came from. Then the manager interrupts her to ask how she feels about working with, quote, colored people. Ruby says she's fine with it as long as they're qualified, and Paul says that a lot of the employees quit when the company ended their whites-only policy. Your place needed flavor, not just salt. Suddenly, the effects of the potion are starting to wear off, and Ruby panics a little. Paul offers her the job as assistant manager, and of course, Ruby accepts it. Paul hugs her and wants to give her a tour, but Ruby rushes to the restroom while transforming back into her original form. This is honestly me when I had diarrhea and rushed my ass to the bathroom. In the elevator, Ruby starts to shed her white skin. Much later, Ruby has started working as an assistant manager. Paul goes to her and kisses her hand, then leaves after wishing Ruby good luck on her first day. Paul is giving Harvey Weinstein. Tamara, the only black employee at the department store, leaves her station for a bit. This makes one of the customers angry at her, and so Ruby goes to Tamara. Tamara is a bit panicked, but Ruby insists that she isn't in trouble. Ruby sparks a conversation with Tamara about her employment and how it may have upset the other employees, and Ruby tells her that they shouldn't discredit Tamara's education and qualifications. However, Tamara tells Ruby that she didn't even finish high school and only has a 7th grade education. Ruby is visibly upset about this and wonders how an underqualified black woman is able to get a job over her when she was in her black form. She ushers Tamara to use lotion and tells her that her hands are ashy. Ruby really thinks she's better than everyone else now that she's white. The crack is seeping into her brain. Later, Ruby hangs out with Madge, Barb, and Kathy. They try on clothes and dance to the radio, avoiding all the responsibilities of work. Ruby asks them if Paul has ever made a pass at them, and the girls laugh. They tell them that Paul is a family man. Ruby begins to dance, and everyone is impressed with her dance moves. And they say white women can't dance. Someone says the rhythm in those hips. Ruby is ready for the colored dance contest. Barb says she hopes she doesn't see any more Tamaras coming to their store. Ruby says she hopes that the next colored employee isn't underqualified. Barb responds that of course she's not qualified, she's a Negro. The girls want Ruby to convince Tamara to bring them to the South Side. It will be like a safari, they said. Ruby says they wouldn't want to go there since she's been there herself. And a girl responds, oh my God, were you afraid to be around all those people? I want to slap all them white girls so hard they get transported to their Taylor Swift concert. As everyone leaves the store for the day, William is outside waiting for her. The girls are surprised that William is there for Ruby. William kisses Ruby, but immediately reminds her about the favor he needs. William wants Ruby to attend Christina's party as herself in her original form as a black woman. At the party for the Order, a secret magical society, Christina wants Ruby to plant a talisman in Captain Lancaster's office. Ruby says fuck that because she knows the police would fuck her up if caught. Christina tells her Lancaster apparently tried to kill William in order to take the throne of the Order. Because Ruby wants to keep sucking William's carrot stick, she obliges. As Ruby is about to finish her work, Lancaster and his men come into the room, so Ruby rushes into the closet with a captured man. Lancaster removes his shirt, and we notice that his body is partially black. It can't be vitiligo, but the smoke detector is also not beeping. Lancaster is as racist as they come. Maybe an Uncle Ruckus turned whitey? The next day, Ruby is upset with Tamara for not doing her work correctly. Ruby tells Tamara that in order to represent her race, Tamara must do better than mediocre. She has to go above and beyond at work. Paul interrupts and wonders if everything is okay. Ruby says it's fine and says Tamara is taking them to the South Side later that evening. After work, everyone from Marshall Fields is at a party in the South Side. The girls grab Tamara to force her to teach them how to dance. Unfortunately, Ruby's potion effects are about to wear off, and she accidentally crushes the potion vial, and her skin starts to shed in a very painful and gruesome way. This is literally me when someone calls me skinny, and I feel the fat just magically coming off. Once she's back in her original form, she hears Tamara leaving the bar with Paul. She looks through a peephole and sees Paul trying to force himself onto Tamara. Tamara manages to bite his lip and flee. Paul calls her the N-word bitch. Ruby sits on William's couch in her own blood. Christina comes from the basement and locks the door. Ruby is curious what is behind the door in the basement. Christina says she's been in Ruby's position before as a woman. Ruby tells her to STFU because she has no idea what it's like to be black. Christina agrees and says white people want to be black and black people want to be white. But William's invitation wasn't for Ruby to be white. Christina tells her that the currency of magic is unmitigated freedom to do whatever she wants. It was never about just being white. The next day, Ruby resigns to Paul and says she's always been attracted to Paul and she wants to go further, That is why she wants to quit. Paul kisses Ruby back, but Ruby says she wants to be in control as she ties him. She pulls his pants down and wraps a belt around his neck, then tells him to go on his knees to lick her heels. Paul notices Ruby's eyes are changing. Ruby stuffs Paul's mouth, then starts to use the heels on her shoes to stab Paul's butt.
These is red bottoms, these is bloody shoes.
All the while, Ruby's skin is peeling off, and she goes back to her original form. Paul sees her finally, and Ruby tells him that she wanted Paul to know that a N-word bitch did this to him as she stamps her bloody shoes on his chest. Paul cries in misery. Later that night, William returns home, and Ruby questions about the basement. Suddenly, William starts to writhe in pain as his bones start to break and transform into Christina. So yes, Christina was William this entire time, using the metamorphosis potion, of course. Does this make Ruby Ellis be honest? Christina explains that she didn't kill the bodies in the basement, but used their blood to make a metamorphosis potion. Ruby is still furious, realizing that everything she believed about William was a lie. Christina, still covered in blood, confirms that William was her lover and was killed by Captain Lancaster. Christina goes on to explain the Order of the Ancient Dawn, revealing that she learned magic from William to impress her father. She came to understand that her father would never value her because she's a woman. Christina admits that the blood spell is partly about seeking revenge for William, but also about proving her own potential. She believes she could achieve incredible things that most people can't even imagine. Ruby is absolutely appalled that she got down and dirty with Christina while she was pretending to be her lover. Christina claims that while the words came from William, they truly reflect her desires. Ruby demands the full truth, and Christina reveals that it lies in the lost pages from the Book of Names in her family. That's it for this episode. If you'd like to watch more, check out our Lovecraft Country playlist focusing on this series.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this. Turn on notifications. And leave a like, it really helps the channel out. Thank you for watching.